Hello and welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to be installing some R&G crash protectors. They go onto my Suzuki GSX1250FA. It's a 2011 model, and I think these crash protectors fit quite a few years. And so what I'm going to do here in a minute is I'm going to take off the side panels. I'll show you how to do that, and then we'll start installation of the parts. This is the R&G Racing Products box that the crash protectors inside of. I'm going to open up the box and do an inventory real quick, and I'll show you what's inside the box. Inside the box you have all the brackets you need to install the thing. There's both left and right. There's a center bar that goes between them, and then the actual sliders themselves and inserts for the sliders are here. Instructions, decals, looks like everything is here. So with that having been said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get started by first disconnecting my turn indicators or turn signals on my GSX1250FA. Also, I've laid out a blanket on the floor to lay the lower fairing pieces onto so they won't get scratched or damaged. In order to disconnect the turn signals, you're just simply going to reach up under here and find the connectors for each signal and take them loose. And also on the left-hand side, there's a panel here. It's got some push pins in it. Some of them are kind of hidden, so you have to look very carefully and find them all. Take those push pins out and that'll release this panel. And then on the lower fairings where they come together at the very bottom where it forms like a V in the front, there's a couple of push pins there also. You have to take those out and unclip them and set them aside and make sure you don't get them mixed up. And then I'll start taking off the left side. In order to take off the left side fairing, you have to take out the screw that goes up here, one here, one here, one here. There's one down there. And I think there's another snap piece that goes in down there. Yeah, there is. I'll take that out. And then you slide the whole thing a little forward because it hooks in, and you slide it out carefully. And it's not too hard, but you have to work with it a little bit and don't force it. Okay, this is what the left-hand side of the bike looks like with that panel removed. Now I'm going to go to the other side and remove that one pretty much the same way. And then we'll come back and talk about, we have to take the radiator bolts loose, and I'll show you that. I got the right side off, and I wanted to remind you not to forget to release a bunch of the little catches that go in here. Same as the other side, the left side. The right side has some push pins that go in here. So release those, and then there's an extra bolt that goes into the side panel. So just don't jerk it loose. Be careful, and it's got two things that pop into place here and there, and they were stuck really good. So just in a second here, I'll show you the next step. Okay, at this point, you're going to remove a 10mm bolt here, one here, and then one at the bottom that goes the other way. Actually, it goes towards the left side of the motorcycle. And those are all on rubber mounts, so just use a 10mm wrench or a 10mm socket to get them loose. And then next thing we're going to do is we're going to go behind the radiator on the right side and take out the frame bolts. There's two bolts there. I just pulled out the two frame bolts that go in here. They were next to this fan. Now, I'd use a couple special tools to get to them, and it took two people. I'm going to show you those tools here in just 1 second. Here's the two tools I used to get those big old frame bolts loose, and they're very, very tightly put in there. I think they have Loctite on them. It took quite a bit to break them loose. I've installed the left side block here. It was pretty difficult to get it to fit, and I put some foam on it as best I could tell from the instructions, because this lifts up and that rubber hose is going to hit against here, and this one's probably going to go around front. So I assume that's what the rubber is for. And I'm going to go around to the other side and tighten it up. Now, this side is tightened up. I put a little bit of Loctite on the bolts because I didn't want to over tighten them because they go into things like helicoils on the crossbar that goes across. So I'm going to get the other side tightened up, and then we'll talk about that. I reinstalled the radiator. I had somebody hold it up while I put the bottom bolt in. Then I put the top ones in. I reached in from behind and made sure the fan turned freely, which it does. And now I'm ready to install the right lower fairing. I'm going to do that just like I took it off. Okay, I've reinstalled the lower fairing, and I went ahead and installed the new slider piece that goes here. You use the shorter of the two stalks. They go like this, and use the shorter one. And use a 19mm socket to tighten it up, and you don't want to tighten it too tight, just good and snug. I also put on my LSL slider. I don't know if you can see it down at the bottom. It would have been awesome if one company would come up with this exact design except a bar that comes down and goes from like where the LSL slider is up to here. Now that would be way cool. That's what I was looking for originally. I wish I'd done this 2 years ago when I thought about it, and I don't know why I didn't, but lesson learned. I ended up having to spend a lot of money on the other side of my bike, and I have to actually repaint the other panel tomorrow. So form, fit, and finish is absolutely outstanding. A stellar quality product, definitely worth the money. And if you have a 1250 like mine and you don't have these on there, I'm going to strongly suggest that you consider it, because it would have saved me a lot of money, like I said. Anyway, it took me about 3 hours to do the installation because I'm kind of slow. And that's all there is to this video. Thank you.